What's poppin'? We got the house history class, man. Happy Corona break, y'all.
You know what it is. Go ahead, like and subscribe to the channel. This is where you finna learn about the history. You feel me? Tune in.
Straight like that.
What's up, guys? Coach House coming back to you today. Today I'm going to be talking to you all about the Pullman Strike. Quick reminders before we get going. Make sure you all are catching up with your notes. Make sure you all are catching up with your study guide. Make sure you all are doing stuff with your USA test prep. You can expect another USA test prep to come out some point this week, definitely for sure, as long as, or I guess as long, or in joint with your USA test prep that you already have for this week. So today I am going to talk to you all about the Pullman Strike, and today is only going to be about the Pullman Strike. Usually when I lecture about the Pullman Strike, it takes me about 30 minutes to really dive into everything. But today I'm going to try to get it in under 12 minutes. That's my goal. Don't know if I'm going to reach it, but we're going to try. So the Pullman Strike, why is it important? Kind of what's going on. So I talked to you all yesterday, or I guess last week, about the labor unions and the organization of labor unions and the Knights of Labor versus the American Federation of Labor. Now, one thing I do want to clear up that while both of these two unions are not likely to use strikes, yes, I did say that the AFL is more likely to use it because they are skilled workers. So this does not mean that they want to use it, but you know, in extreme cases, or if it does come down to it, they are willing to do that. So you're kind of seeing the workers kind of have a, you know, strike back, no pun intended, mentality to these companies that are abusing them, and they're abusing their workforce, and they're abusing their hours, their conditions, and how much they're getting paid. So today I'm going to talk to you again about the Pullman Strike. So the Pullman Strike, why is it important? Who really cares? Well, it's a big significant event when you're talking about the industrial unrest. That's a key term right there, industrial unrest that's going on at this period of time. So how does it work? Why is it important? So George Pullman is going to be a guy that makes railway cars, and he makes luxury ones. So that means if you're traveling by train, I don't know, some of you may have been to Europe, but you have the option if you're traveling by train in Europe, you know, what styled seating do you want? Do you want your own little cabin? Do you want preferential seating? Do you want, you know, two people? You guys get it. So they make luxury railway cars. So what that means is these are like for the higher level people. Now, who cares? So why is this important? Well, what happens is George Pullman, I almost said Foreman, George Pullman is requiring his workers that are working on these cars to live in what's called a company town. And he's requiring to pay rent. So really he's kind of making double the money because he's getting their service at a lower rate, and then he's taking money back from them when you're talking about his services for rent. And what's going to happen is you're going to reach this period where he's going to start laying people off. And when he's laying people off, that means you do not have a job. So like right now during the coronavirus, you are seeing a bunch of people get laid off. That means they're not getting paid. So that's why you see the federal government trying to step in and say, hey, you know, we're going to try to provide some sort of relief to you depending on what happens with the Senate. So they're going to provide some sort of relief to you in order to help you with your bills. Well, the difference is he's laying people off and he's not helping them with them bills. So rent is still due on the 1st, if you will. And what that means is people are losing money to pay for rent. This is obviously a very big problem, so they get upset. When they get upset, they're going to go on a strike. Now, the guy that is leading this strike is very important. His name is Eugene V. Debs. Okay, that's his full name. That's not Eugene. A lot of people, they read it and they go, Eugene versus Debs. What's that? Is this a court case? No, it's Eugene V. Debs. And he's going to become very important to us when we start talking World War I and that kind of stuff. So this is his first, like, hey, I'm on the scene type thing. And he's going to help lead this strike. Now, the problem is when he leads this strike, it is going to grow very fast. There's going to be like 250,000 workers that are going to be involved in this, and the boycott is going to spread across 27 states, which is a lot, especially when you're talking about railway. And then so a lot of products at this time, there's no interstate or anything like that. So the most effective way to get them from point A to point B is the use of the trains. And so when the railways start to shut down, this becomes a major problem for the distribution of goods and what's going to end up getting him, which is the disruption of federal mail, which is what the president claims. And so these strikes are effective and they're costing people a lot of money. Now, what's going to happen with these strikes is they're going to turn violent, and this is why they turn violent. So the president's going to say, look, you cannot disrupt the, distribution of federal mail. So I don't know if you all know this, but if you do disrupt the distribution of federal mail, that is a federal crime, which is kind of weird, but that's what he uses to bring in the military. So this is him using his presidential power, and he brings in that military. And he's going to bring in the military. Well, like anything, like I tell you all, when cops come to a situation, it never usually gets better. It actually gets worse majority of the time. So it's going to get worse, and it's going to turn violent, and things are going to be set on fire, property is going to be destroyed, and it is going to take a while to get this protest and this sort of riots and the strike figured out. And so, like I said, this involves 250,000 workers. This involves 27 states. This is going to extremely disrupt the train system as it goes on. So what's going to happen is, again, this is a major symbol for industrial unrest in this time period. And moving to my last little page here. So I already told you how the federal government responds. They bring in the military. And like I said, once you bring in the military, it is going to get a lot worse. Eugene's actually going to be arrested. He's going to have to serve a little bit of jail time. And so what does it matter? Like, what is the point of this? Well, I guess the end point of this is it causes a lot of damage, and it causes some deaths too, with the military being brought in. Overall, 30 people are going to be killed during the strike, and it's going to cost them a total of probably $80 million in property damage that is done from this strike. So not only is this a major symbol from the workers saying, hey, we're not going to take this anymore, but this is a major issue to the president going, there are some issues out there with workers and their ability to have a fair wage and a fair life, and be working in safe conditions and not be abused by the companies. But again, the term laissez-faire pops into my head, and the government at this time is not going to step in, and the government's not going to step in any social issue until you get to FDR and the Great Depression. And that's like his new deal, and again, we'll talk about that next unit. So the government steps in, they bring in the federal army, and what happens is 30 people are killed. You're going to have $80 million in property damage. And again, so why is this so important? This is where I'm going to finish this lecture. Why is this a big deal? And why do people care? Why am I teaching you about it now? And what this shows is, and I'm reading right off my notes, is this makes the big business in the federal government fear labor unions. Why do they fear labor unions? Because the labor unions are the ones that caused the strike. And so with the strike, you have a lot of people losing a lot of money. And when people lose money, they're not happy about it. So this is a major thing that kind of shakes up the industrial unrest in this time period. So that is where I'm going to stop today. Finally got it in under 10 minutes, which is exciting. Make sure you're doing USA test preps. Make sure you're keeping up with your notes. Make sure you're completing that study guide. We are almost done with this unit. We're about halfway through, so we'll pick up with the progressive movement next. And I hope you all are staying safe. Hope you all are washing your hands. Hopefully none of your family is affected by this. So until next time, I'll talk to you later.
Thanks for watching History with Howard.
Don't forget to
Like,
comment,
and subscribe.